The fire truck surprisingly got a ticket from the police, but considering the serious accident ahead and the driver waiting for rescue, the captain decided saving lives was more important and signed the ticket.
You have a great day.
Hey, officer, you have a great day, too.
Just as they were enjoying afternoon tea after completing their mission, the fire truck parked by the roadside was towed away by the police.
You parked in a fire lane.
It's a fire truck.
Oh, where's the fire?
The police officer handed them a ticket, demanding payment to retrieve the vehicle.
You all have a great day.
It turned out the local sheriff harbored bias against firefighters. He believed police officers patrolled diligently every day, while firefighters just hid in the fire station playing games or sleeping, only coming out to fight fires for show when necessary. What infuriated the firefighters even more was discovering a long scratch on their retrieved fire truck.
All right, you see this? This is war.
The fire captain arranged a friendly baseball match with the sheriff, but their hired professional player hadn't arrived yet. To make matters worse, the team's performance was disappointing to the captain.
Strike one! Strike two! Strike three!
With the score falling behind by more than 10 points, the crucial moment arrived when the player finally showed up. It turned out he had been detained by the police for over an hour, claiming he had rolled through a stop sign. With the player's addition, the fire team quickly caught up in score. However, the sheriff started playing dirty, deliberately tripping opponents and claiming they fell on their own. To avoid further trouble, Captain reluctantly suggested calling it a draw. The sheriff not only didn't appreciate it, but also taunted them with words.
Well, you know we're about to mop the floor with you hose jockeys.
Thus, what started as a friendly baseball game to resolve tensions turned into a chaotic brawl on the spot. To make matters worse, it was all captured by journalists. The journalists broadcasted live the chaotic brawl between the fire department and the police department, which was originally intended as a friendly baseball match to resolve tensions. The next day, the fire department suddenly received a distress call from the sheriff. Upon arriving at the scene, they discovered a factory on fire where marijuana was being cultivated by drug traffickers. The fire had started during a police raid on the traffickers. Police officers were disoriented from smoke inhalation, speaking incoherently. The sheriff was trapped inside. The fire captain dashed into the blaze and quickly found the sheriff in a corner. Witnessing the captain risking his life to save him, the sheriff, who had harbored biases against firefighters, finally overcame his prejudices.
You guys walk into this every day. You're so brave.
Walking in's the easy part. Walking out that's hard.
Thus, the conflict sparked by a ticket came to an end. Afterwards, both sides apologized for their earlier quarrel, shook hands, and put aside their differences. An elderly woman's home was illegally broken into.
Oh God, he's coming in!
The elderly woman shot and killed the intruder in self-defense, but the police and firefighters found that the supposed intruder on the floor looked exactly like the man in the photo with the elderly woman. She insisted she saw the intruder's face clearly and didn't recognize him. However, when shown the photo, she immediately recognized the man as her proud son.
He's a doctor. We're very proud.
The firefighters speculated that the elderly woman might be suffering from a condition or brain damage causing face blindness. They had no choice but to take her to the hospital for examination. How could they break this tragic truth to her?
Not yet. Let the doctors do their job. Save her life, then I'll do mine.
The examination results were as expected. The elderly woman had fallen in the morning, causing a brain hemorrhage. At this point, the officer had to reveal the truth.
He was shot when he was mistaken for an intruder.
In an instant, the elderly woman understood everything.
I'm so sorry.
No! No!
No, please.
The man hit by the car slid directly into a narrow sewer opening. The driver didn't even stop to check and quickly left the scene. Even more desperate was the fact that there was no signal in the sewer. It was impossible to be discovered for a year or more, with the walls exceptionally slippery, making it impossible to climb out. As the man despaired of waiting for death, a dishwasher at a nearby restaurant heard his cries for help from the sewer and quickly dialed 911. When the firefighters arrived, they doubted the man's intelligence. How could someone be inside?
Please. Somebody help me, please.
See?
Hello?
The firefighters were astonished. At that moment, the restaurant manager brought the surveillance video. Everyone learned the truth of the situation. The priority was to rescue the man, but the sewer opening was too narrow. The smell was unbearable. The other two firefighters looked at the thinnest member of the team.
I'm going into the sewer, aren't I?
He reluctantly went down to rescue the man. A bull got stuck in a car. Several firefighters arrived with axes for the rescue. Of course, the axes were for self-defense. The owner of a used car dealership had brought in this massive beast to attract customers. The strategy worked. Business was booming. A young man excitedly came to pick out a car. He was drawn to a bright red one.
Holy hell!
Unfortunately, the vivid red color excited the bull. It charged through the crowd, headed straight for the red car. An animal expert administered a tranquilizer to the bull but warned the firefighters to remain extremely cautious. The leader decided to try calming the bull first. He attempted to communicate with it, saying he'd rescued dogs and cats, hoping the bull wouldn't harm him. As the crew cut the car's pillars, the loud noise frightened the bull, causing it to struggle violently. The leader immediately ordered the crew to stop and continued to soothe the bull. Soon, they successfully looped a rope around its horns and slowly pulled it out.
Hey, Malachi, next time do me a favor. Pick a convertible.
The man grabbed a handful of ashes and scattered them. Suddenly, a gust of wind blew the ashes back into his face.
Clint, you all right?
He choked on the ashes and collapsed. His friend quickly called 911. The dispatcher urgently instructed the friend to turn the man onto his side. The friend patted the man's back to help him expel the ashes, but this action almost sent the man to meet God. The dispatcher explained that patting could cause the ashes to settle deeper, accelerating the man's death. Furthermore, the man had the flu. His respiratory tract was already damaged. The ashes irritated his windpipe, causing it to close. The dispatcher advised using a hot compress to open the closed airway. The friend was instructed to start the car, soak a towel in water, heat it on the exhaust pipe, and then place it on the man's chest. Miraculously, the dying man's breathing became smooth. He coughed and expelled the ashes. Seeing his friend come back to life, he was ecstatic and curiously asked what the ashes tasted like. Hearing the playful conversation, the dispatcher also smiled in relief. She was horrified to see black smoke continuously billowing from the wing outside. Thankfully, her size prevented her from being thrown out of the plane. The nearby fire captain tried to pull her back, but the strong suction made it impossible. Another firefighter stumbled out of the restroom. They managed to pull the poor woman back into the cabin. A passenger removed their bag to plug the damaged window. This action greatly reduced the plane's turbulence. When the woman regained consciousness, she found herself struggling to breathe. The captain noticed extensive bleeding under her armpit. After taking photos, they called for the team doctor's help. Guided by the doctor, they stabilized the woman using a water bottle, coconut water, and the plane's seatbelt. However, the question of whether their plane could safely land remained. Finally, amidst severe turbulence, the plane landed without the expected explosion. Everyone couldn't help but applaud and cheer. The man left for work as usual. His wife eagerly opened a door, anticipating a secret meeting with the neighbor next door. The startled woman called for help, only to discover it was her husband's doing. Firefighters quickly arrived at the scene. The woman urgently asked them to hurry and rescue the neighbor. But how could he be injured? It turns out every day when the man leaves for work, the neighbor sneaks into a pre-dug tunnel to have secret meetings with the man's wife. Until that day, when the man came home early, the wife hurriedly ran out looking nervous as if hiding something. He suddenly remembered the surveillance camera above and recalled how the neighbor would warmly greet him before leaving for work, sparking a bold suspicion in his mind. Sure enough, the firefighters found the buried neighbor below and quickly rescued him. While the woman asked if the neighbor was hurt, at the same time, the man was detained for assault. Do you think this outcome is reasonable?